In India, there's a lot of outrage over a sexual assault victim who was actually sexually assaulted in public by more than a dozen guys. This story is hideous because of the fact that she was sexually assaulted for up to 45 minutes before anyone did anything. Police officials finally intervened, but there was also a journalist on the scene who did not intervene, but instead took out a camera and started videotaping it. So people are outraged at that because they felt like he just was an opportunist and took the moment to break a news story as opposed to helping a victim that was being sexually assaulted by more than a dozen men.
And in devastating ways. I mean, the cigarette burns are unbelievable.
Yeah, a woman for the National Commission for Women says that the treatment was animal-like treatment and there were cigarette burns all over her body.
Now, look, sexual assault of 45 minutes is horrendous any way you slice it. That's just literally adding, more injury on top of what has happened already. Now, the journalist went and actually even called a cameraman to come and tape it as well. So now let's discuss who's at fault. First of all, obviously the people who did it, right? Second of all, this was just minutes away from a police station. Now, if nobody reported it, can you blame the police? Well, it depends on the situation. And here it appears that police apparently have a culture of being fairly indifferent to it in that particular area that we're discussing here. And only after there was tremendous media attention to it, then the head of the police was like, oh, wait a minute, okay, let me take some action here. And then when they finally did take action, they arrested 7 other guys within 48 hours. So it turns out, if you care to do something, you can. So to me, the most troubling part about it is the local community not helping. If you're a woman, you're a man, etc., you got to have decency and help there. Then the police. Now, when it comes to the journalists, it's a little bit more of a mixed bag. They're saying, their bosses are saying there, hey, listen, it's our job to record this stuff, and that she would have gotten no help later if we hadn't recorded it. What if our journalist guy had rushed in and then he had been assaulted too and nothing was on tape? Well, then nothing would have been done. Okay, that's an understandable argument, but at the same time, once your cameraman showed up, you might have wanted to put down your iPhone or whatever you were recording it on and think about helping out.
Yeah, not buying it. As someone who works in the media, I feel like if I were in that situation, I would immediately think about alerting the authorities. Would I get involved and try to save her? Like, no, I wouldn't get in the middle of a dozen guys sexually assaulting her. If the police station is right by there, I would go alert the authorities first. And then if I had an opportunity, then I would take footage of it and make sure that I raise awareness about what's happening in that area. But to not alert the authorities first, I think there's no excuse for that.
Yeah, I agree with you, because the bottom line is you could have made an excuse in the beginning saying, hey, this is my job, I'm getting this on tape. You could have made an excuse that, hey, you didn't go in because there was too many guys and you were worried about your own safety. But once your cameraman shows up, and this is not a thing that lasted 3 minutes or 7 minutes, 45 minutes. In minute 27, you surely could have gone down to the police station and said, hey, wait a minute, somebody's got to put a stop to this, let alone minute 17, let alone minute 7, etc. And for it to go on, the terror she must have had must have been amazing. By the way, finally, at the end, the cops did show up, and she was at least thankful for that because she was worried that they were going to move on to rape next. And so they did stop that portion of it, and now, of course, a huge story in India. And because it's not just about that particular issue, of course, it's about, is there something wrong in the culture when this is permitted far too often? And that's why India scored, unfortunately, at the bottom for women's issues, even worse than Saudi Arabia. And that's why the whole country's talking about it. Hey, maybe we should do something more about this, to which I say, obviously.